Hello and good morning to my dear ladies. I've been thinking about Courtney, the videos that you sent me with your daughter. I think she's doing a really good job in learning to identify the phonogram sounds when she sees the cards. So I think you should continue doing what you're doing. Right now you're developing phonemic awareness. Remember, we have two goals. We want to be able to see a sound and say it, hear a sound and write it. So right now you're working on seeing the sound and saying it because she is really not demonstrating readiness to write. And I noticed that when she was creating one of those letters, I think it was the D, she was creating it incorrectly, and worse than that, she would do it one particular way one time and then another way on another time, and that's really not good. We have to develop consistency. It's really, really important when we do writing that we make it as perfect as possible, because there's a connection between the ability to write and the ability to read, and so we have to develop that. So right now she is not demonstrating to us that she's ready for that, and that's okay because she's young. You know, most children really don't develop that ability till maybe 5 or sometimes even as late as 6. I don't actually think she's going to have to be that old, but you know, she's still only 4.5, so we don't need to be in a rush or worry that we're behind or she's never going to read or anything like that. So I want you to continue to do what you're doing in terms of developing her ability to see a sound and say it. Now I had given you that link to that article that Liz Fitzgerald wrote about determining readiness and things that you can do. So I think you need to read it again. I would not try to teach her to write letters at this point. She's not demonstrating an ability to do that or really wanting to. You know, she gets very frustrated when you're trying to correct her. So she's not really teachable in terms of that particular skill right now. So what I would do instead is reread that article, and she's got really good, suggestions. The one thing that I think would be very good for you to do is, if I don't know if they still carry them, but I remember when I was a kid, they would have those big clock faces, and you could move, the little hands around. I don't know if you can get something like that. It would be nice if she could have something large. If you can't do that, I saw online that there's a lot of printable clock faces you can take out. And you could, print out a bunch, have her trace with her fingers, get that idea of going clockwise and then counterclockwise, teaching her those skills. You can also, once she's, pretty good at that, you can tell her to do things like put your hand at the 2 o'clock and go over counterclockwise to the 10 o'clock. By doing that, you're getting her ready for when she's actually ready to create her letters. You could also make 3x5 cards and put them in a circle on the floor and have her, walk around the clock and then walk around counterclockwise, so she gets used to that idea. I think that you can make, give her like typical things that you give children her age, like cutting and pasting, working with her hands. You had told me that you sent away for those booklets that I suggested, and I don't know if they've come in yet. But if they have, I would work on those. I would not teach her how to write a letter because she's not doing it correctly and she's not demonstrating that she's willing to be taught. So I think you're just going to create, way too many problems. She's just not ready to do that. I have a lot of other suggestions for things we can do when we get together, because I want to have us both be together, or the three of us be together, so that we can to go over those things. So when your schedules look like we could do that, I don't know if next week would be better or would work out, or different week, doesn't matter. But there's lots of things that we can do to get our children ready to be reading and doing the things we want them to do. But she's definitely not ready, and we don't want to push her. The other thing that I do want to suggest, though, is, and you always have to keep this in mind, because she's a spunky little girl, which is certainly a great attribute, and it'll be a good attribute for her when she's an adult. But, we want to mold her, and we want to direct her into, to becoming a nice, strong woman, but with wisdom and not with foolishness. Remember, the book of Proverbs tells us that foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. So always remember that you're the parent and she's the child. So you want to have You want to find a balance, so you want to seek the Lord how you find this balance. We don't want to be heavy-handed, but we also don't want to let our children just, put a leash on us and run us around. Because remember, you're going to have her all day. You're going to be her teacher. And you can't teach her if she's not teachable. And the person who teaches her to be teachable is you, your husband, because we're the parents. So you want to find that way to present yourself in such a way that you're commanding respect in your demeanor. You're not being heavy-handed. You're not crushing her, but that you're making it clear that you're the parent, you're the teacher, she's the child, she's the student, and she's to learn from you. So, just seek the Lord and think about how you can carry yourself in such a way. The other thing is, I think it probably would be a great idea if you brought her sometime, and I could work with her one time, and she'll certainly act differently because she's around me. But I don't feel like she's ready to do that yet. I feel right now we want to work on those basic cutting, pasting, playing with clay, learning directions, up, down, left, right, things like that, things that are basic, to get her ready to that point when we can teach her to write. And she's just really not ready to do that. So I don't think that's the direction we want to go. But we can continue to teach her those phonogram sounds. There's 70 of them. So she's got a ways to go before she learns them all. I feel that she's learning them very well. Her pronunciation is great. And, she seems to be excited about it. So we want to keep that excitement going. I think you're doing a great job in terms of how you're encouraging her. It's really wonderful. You give her lots of approbation. That's very important. Remember, if they do something wrong, don't say no, but just say, okay, let's watch me. And, try to have a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy. Maybe you can make her stand when you're doing some of these things, using her body. Have her, do things like say, watch me and look how I do it. Can you do it just like me? And, make it fun, make it exciting. Record her doing her sounds and show it back to her and say, let's do the best job we can do so that you can watch yourself, and we can send it to grandma, we can send it to grandpa, or, whoever, and tell her that, when you're learning this, you're learning something that not a lot of people know, and you're going to be able to teach them too when you're really, really good at this, and you're getting good at this now. So give her that encouragement, give her a goal that you're setting for herself, and that goal is that she's going to be really, really smart, and she's going to know things and be able to teach them. And so that'll be something she wants to aim for. So anyways, I hope this is helpful, and I hope you both have a great day. Bye-bye.